Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Star. You guys would probably remember me better as Lady Dead Rabbit. Here on this channel, I focus primarily on cosplay content as I myself am a professional cosplayer. Today I'm going to be showing you guys 4 or 5 different ways to do freckles for cosplay content. This video is obviously for people who, like myself, don't really have freckles. Obviously, if your skin complexion isn't the same as mine, then these methods might not work as well for you. But in general, this is just how I have done freckles in the past and the different types of methods that I use to do freckles for cosplays, contingent upon how the character that I'm cosplaying has their freckles. This video is perfect for beginner cosplayers who are having a really hard time figuring out how to do freckles for their cosplay, or just cosplayers who have a really hard time just finding affordable products to be able to do realistic makeup. You don't need anything crazy to be able to do these freckles. You don't need to buy some expensive ass product. You don't need anything like this. Everything I'm going to be using in this video today is going to be really simple things that I guarantee you most of you guys have in your household. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing, typically before any sort of cosplay makeup, is I usually will put on some sort of primer or foundation, depending on how the character's face is. Now, whenever it comes to characters with a lot of freckles and a lot of blemishes, I will actually not use any foundation. Today, I am not wearing any makeup at all. This is what my face looks like, completely bare without any makeup. I have pretty fair skin and I don't really have a whole lot of blemishes. I am very fortunate that I don't have any acne problems. The only blemishes that I really have are just around my nose, but even that, I mean, I think personally this doesn't bother me. I think it looks fine. So yeah, I will say that whenever doing cosplay makeup, for characters that have freckles, if you're going to be putting on foundation or concealer or whatever, do that beforehand before doing any freckles. I always recommend, as soon as you do that stuff and you let it set, to do the freckles and then to go in and contour. What I see a lot of the times with cosplayers is they will do the foundation and then they'll contour their face and then they'll go in and do the freckles. I personally do not like this method, as I think it makes the freckles really obvious. Like, it makes them look really fake. And for me, my goal a lot of the times is to look as realistic and as accurate to the characters that I cosplay. Now, this all depends. Oh, focusing over there. Okay, camera, quit freaking out. Totally lost my point. Let me rewind. Now, depending on how you want to do your freckles, I believe depends on what kind of character you're cosplaying. So if you are cosplaying like a cartoon or an anime character, then your freckles are probably going to be a lot more simple and not realistic, and that's fine, I think. I'm actually going to jump in first and show you guys how to do sort of cartoon freckles. So whenever I do cartoon anime-esque characters, which I don't do a whole lot, I would say the most cartooniest characters I do are characters from comic books. Sorry guys, I know this is disappointing, but I don't cosplay from anime. I know, you can hate on me in the comments if you want to. So whenever I do characters like that have more cartoon-esque features, what I typically will go in and do is I will be just using a little brown This is like an eyebrow pencil. This isn't like anything special. I think I got this from like the dollar store like several years ago. I mean, yeah, it's nothing special. But I like to do mine a little bit different. I like to go in as well with just like this. This is just a little brown contour stick. I got also from the dollar store. You guys can use any sort of contour stick that you want. I would recommend for doing freckles to do something a little bit more on the dark brown. Sorry, the camera keeps wanting to focus over here. Maybe I should lean back. Gosh. Whenever doing freckles, I recommend using things that are like a darker brown, because you'll be patting it out, so it's going to get lighter. And also, if you're wearing foundation and concealer, it's better to go in darker, because I find that, at least for me personally, whenever I use foundation and concealer and I do freckle makeup, it's not as prominent. I find that the makeup sticks to my skin a lot better whenever my face is completely bare of any sort of makeup products. Which is why in this video today I'm not wearing any sort of makeup at all. But yeah. So I'm just gonna go in with the little contour stick and the little brow pencil, and I'm just gonna sort of dot it. I'm doing this because this is it's just a really cheap eyebrow pencil, so it's not super pigmenty. Like, I have to sort of like push it in my skin and like draw my eyebrows on to get any sort of mark. Just doing a little dot, it's not going to leave any marks. So I like to do this because it's better. It's also better if this is like freshly sharpened. As you can see, it's kind of dull. So it's not going to be super prominent. If I wanted it to be more prominent and more pigmenty on my skin, I can obviously go in and just like sharpen it. But yeah, for the sake of this, I'm just gonna do a couple freckles on like my nose and then like my cheeks, and then I'll wipe it off and show you guys another method. As you can see, I dotted my face, and what I'm gonna be doing is I just use my finger and I just smudge it down to make it more realistic. There you go. That is one method of doing freckles. It's I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really a big fan of this method, as I think it just kind of stains my face, and it makes it have this weird sort of brown kind of blush to it. So this is a method that I personally do not use a whole lot. I use it for certain characters, but typically if I do use this sort of method for a character, it's only going to be focused on the bridge of my nose, as my cheeks have a lot more fat to it. My bridge is, I mean, it's just cartilage, you know, it's just skin and cartilage. So it's a lot more of a hard surface, and it's just easier to do those precise little dots. So that's one method that you guys can do to create freckles for your cosplay. I'm going to wipe my face really quick, and I'll show you guys another method. Here is another method to making freckles. This is a method that I don't really do, just because I find that, I don't know, I just don't get the results that I quite care about when doing this. But it might work really great for some of you guys out there. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using an extremely small, skinny little brush. And I'm just going to be wetting the brush. You can use an angled brush, just use like the very sharp tip of it to wet it, and I'm going to be going in with the brown eyeshadow. And just like before, I'm just going to be sort of dotting it all around on my face. So I went ahead and I also kind of just very gently sort of patted and smoothed down my skin. So I don't really like using this method because I feel like it's not noticeable enough. I suppose I could make it more noticeable if I went in and dotted my face like 1,000 times. And also, the key to doing freckles and doing them realistically is to be as random as possible. So there's that tip. But to me, it's just, it's too subtle. It's not, I mean, it's noticeable, but like, not really. So I don't know. This is just a method that I pretty much never use. But it might work great for some of you guys out there. I mean, so if you don't have like any other product, all you have is like eyeshadow and like brushes, there's something for you that you can try to do for your cosplay makeup. By the way, I get asked this a lot, that whenever I do this freckle makeup, like, people always ask me, aren't you worried about, like, what if you sweat off your makeup? What if you, like, sweat off the freckles? And sometimes if I'm cosplaying outside and I'm wearing, like, a lot of layers, sometimes I do sort of sweat my makeup off a little bit. But in general, for me personally, I'm only cosplaying from, like, maybe an hour to 2 hours max. Max being, like, maybe 3 hours of making and recording content for social media. And also, whenever it comes to, like, whenever it comes to conventions, I mean, it's probably better to carry a little makeup bag and, like, maybe some wipes anyways. So if you do find that your freckles are smudged or they're starting to be sweat off, I mean, you can just reapply it. You know, these aren't really things that I do for my everyday makeup, because I don't have freckles. Everyone in my life knows I don't have freckles. So if I do freckle makeup, it's pretty obvious. So yeah. The third and final method that I'm going to be doing, and I'm just going to leave this freckle stuff on because it's not even gonna really make a difference, in my opinion, for this next method. You guys have probably definitely seen me use this method during some of my makeup tutorials. This is my favorite method. You guys are gonna think I'm crazy and I'm weird that I do this, but I'm telling you, this works. Out of all the other methods that I've done, like, throughout my 9 years of cosplay, this is my favorite way to do freckles for cosplay. If you don't like it, don't do it, but this just is what I do, you know? So, I'm gonna be going in with the Sharpie. Yeah, I know, I'm nuts. We're not really gonna talk about it. Listen, the reason why I like using this, and this is just kind of like one of those little, I don't even think this is a permanent Sharpie. It's a Sharpie, but I don't think it's permanent. I think this is like a dry erase board Sharpie. I like using this because it gives me the most realistic effects of freckles. The freckles are sometimes a bit lighter, sometimes they're a bit darker. It's easy for me to blend it in. And also, this is really easy to wash off my face. And I know you think, but that's a Sharpie. Listen, I need you to understand that it works. I cannot explain to you why or how it works. It just works, okay? And this is how I do pretty much all of my freckles. So yeah, I'm gonna go in with the Sharpie. I'm just gonna do some pretty generic freckles, just like around the bridge of my nose, and then just like kind of like the fronts of my cheeks, just kind of like just the front of my face. I'm not gonna do anything crazy. And then with my finger, I'm just going to pat it down, and I will show you guys how realistic they are. It's kind of a crappy job because I'm just feeling a bit lazy, but this, yeah, to me, this is just the best method for doing freckles. It might seem a little bit obvious right now. Normally, I like to spread it all over my face, so it's just the most realistic. For the sake of this video, I'm just kind of focusing here. Again, how many freckles I do, how often I dot my face really depends on the character that I'm cosplaying. So if I'm cosplaying a character that has like a lot of freckles, like Triss Marigold from The Witcher 3 or Sarah, I'm gonna be kind of doing that a little bit all over my face, but primarily focusing here. Versus like other characters where they only have like maybe a couple freckles here and there, you know? The only thing that I don't really like about this method is that I can definitely sweat this off. This probably isn't something that I would do. I mean, sometimes I do use this method for like everyday makeup, but only sometimes. If I'm going out and it's like the middle of the summer and I know I'm going to be sweating my balls off, obviously I'm not going to be doing this method. And also, it kind of stains my finger. I mean, I can just wash it off, but it's just kind of annoying. It looks like I poked my butthole or something. And there you guys have it. Those are 3 methods that I use as a cosplayer to do freckles for my cosplay makeup. I hope that this was helpful to you guys. Like I said in the beginning, you don't really need any sort of fancy products to be able to do this. Sorry. My camera is having a hard time focusing today. Focus, my God. But yeah, so you don't need like any sort of crazy fancy products to do this. In fact, I am of the belief that it's not necessarily what you use or what you wear, rather it is how you use it and how you wear it. That's just my philosophy on fashion and also cosplay in general. But yeah, I hope that this video is really helpful to you guys. If I can just do a little bit of a self-promo here. So I recently created a Patreon. I'm going to have it linked down below in my link tree, along with all of my other socials that you guys can find me on. I am primarily active on Patreon, Instagram, and TikTok. Joining my Patreon for $10 a month means that you get hand signs, little 4x4 or 4x6 inch prints of my cosplays. You also get exclusive access to new cosplay content, as well as you get to see my videos for YouTube an entire week before I upload them. So yeah, early access content, exclusive access content, and gifts. What's not to love? You would also be helping support me, a cosplayer of relatively small following. So, you know, it helps me to be able to continue to do these things. So my TikTok, that is probably where I post most of my cosplay content. It's really fun. I'm super active on there. I have been doing a lot of live streams on there. The past couple weeks, I've been popping on and having a lot of chats. It's been really nice getting to know a lot of you guys. So if you're interested in talking to me a little bit more, that is a great way to get in contact with me. My Instagram is really great to see my new and upcoming projects. I like to post sort of teaser stuff on there. Again, I do like to keep most of that stuff exclusively onto Patreon, so yeah. Without further ado, I hope that you guys like this video. Let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below, or if there's any sort of advice that you guys are looking to get from a more experienced cosplayer, whether it's makeup or costuming or like whatever, then let me know and maybe I'll make a video about it. I don't know. Stick around by subscribing to the channel for more content, and I will see you guys soon.